And what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Cheap Ludes, and I am here to talk about budget cards in NBA 2K21 My Team. So, we're going to be counting down the top 10 budget options right now to improve your squad in NBA 2K21 My Team. So, I don't know, I wouldn't say definition, but my understanding of budget cards is anything under 25k this year, just because 2K increased the tiers and there's more MT, etc., etc. So, we're not going to be focusing on any cards above 25k, so we'll start with 4 or 5 honorable mentions, and then we'll get to the actual top 10 list. Honorable mention number 1 would be Gerald Green that we got yesterday. Now, the reason he's an honorable mention, not on the top 10 list, is there's just a bunch of dudes who do what Gerald Green does, but Gerald Green does do it very, very well. There's nothing particularly wrong with this guy at all. Like, he's incredibly good. It's just there's nothing like crazy special. And at this point of the game's lifespan, like, for me to include a card in the top 10, they have to do something that no other card does. You know what I mean? He's got jump shot 70, which is Jonathan Isaac base. Very easy to green, but does miss a bunch of whites, something to take into consideration. 46 Hoff badges, 10 golds. He's 6'7" with a solid wingspan. I believe it is 6'9", which isn't great, but it's at least pretty decent. He dunks over everybody. He plays pretty tight, competent defense. He's not the greatest shooter in the world, but that's not really what Gerald Green has ever been known for anyway, so it is what it is. Solid card overall, though. There's literally nothing wrong with the card. He's just, like, very good. Same with the next guy. Oh, it's doing that thing again. Fan favorites, I don't know what they did with fan favorites, but, like, you can't search, like, just a couple of the players. Felipe Lopez, which is our next honorable mention, and Danny Ferry, who, you know, you'll see pop up on either this list or the next one for sure. 6'5", 2-guard/point guard. Not, once again, just like Gerald Green, nothing incredibly special happening here. He's very, very solid, but not too incredible, if I'm being completely honest. Like, he's just, like, overall really tight. But there's no one thing I can point to and be like, okay, Felipe Lopez is super sick if he did this. He's basically, Kevin Porter Jr. Like, they're basically the same card, essentially. Just a little bit different. Like, the releases are a tiny bit different. They both have the same base, a little bit different uppers. Kevin Porter Jr., I feel like moves maybe a little bit better than Felipe Lopez, but I feel like Felipe Lopez plays a little bit better defense, so it just kind of depends what you're really looking for. Other than that, essentially the same card. Another couple guys who would be the same would be Tim Hardaway Jr. and J.R. Smith. All 4 of those guys are basically the same card. They're all like 6'5", 6'6", have the same jump shot base with really similar uppers, and they all kind of play the exact same way. So there's really like no difference between them. Another honorable mention, I know some people really don't like this card, but I do, and that's Larry Johnson. 6'7", small forward. I mean, he's really hit or miss for people. That's why he's an honorable mention, not on the list. Some people love this card due to his jump shot, which is, I love it. Like, I love his jump shot. It's super fast. I green with it consistently, but other people are having issues with it, which I understand. He's essentially the same as the reward card for Unlimited. His base is base 13, same as like Glenn Rice and Bertans. Next up, honorable mention, come on, bro, Big Scal. Look at my man. This might be the only picture in existence of Brian Scalabrine actually playing basketball and not just like sitting on the sidelines. Which, don't get it twisted, bro. If you wanted to play one-on-one versus Scalabrine, he would absolutely destroy you, and there's no question about it. I don't care how good of a hooper you think you are. I don't care how fast you think you are. My man is 6'9". He will cover the ground even at age 45, and he will absolutely destroy you, as we've seen many times on camera. Brian Scalabrine is, I mean, he's everything you really expect from Brian Scalabrine. He kind of plays good defense. He's a really, really good shooter. He moves pretty decent. Brian Scalabrine is another guy that suffers from like Anthony Davis syndrome, where they're way better in the beginning of the year and not too much in the end when everybody can do everything. But he's still good. Base 20 is solid as well. Jalen Rose would be the final honorable mention, and it's not really shocking. You guys know how much I love this card. Like, he's just good at everything. One other one of those, I don't want to say positionless guys, but guys that are equally usable at both positions that they play, which a lot of times is not not the case. Like, most cards are not the case that way. Like, even one of my favorite cards in the game, Rudy Gay, I feel like is much better at the shooting guard than the point guard. Jalen Rose is different, though. And he's got base 32, which I love. Number 10. This is a shocking one. I feel like people probably didn't expect me to put Eric Paschall. Whatever. This card is stupid. Like, this card is so good. I am honestly kind of shocked how good this card actually is. Like, 6'7", 6'11" wingspan, lockdown defender. He can play the 2-guard or the power forward. He's significantly better at the 2-guard, I will say that. Same release as guys like Paul Millsap, Sharif Abdul-Rahim from earlier in the year. Obviously, I'm very quick. Pretty much no negatives to his game whatsoever, except his jump shot is something that you probably haven't used unless you use that Millsap card that we got as a reward. If you use that card a lot, you're going to like him. He does need Deadeye, especially at the 2-guard for what he does, where he's more of a 3-and-D cone. Like, having stop and go and Deadeye is definitely important. Stop and go is, important for different reasons, obviously, but, Number 9. It's not a card I really need to go into too much detail about. I mean, it's Dino Raja. He's Dino Raja. Like, he's 6'11" with a 7'11" wingspan. Pretty much good at everything. He has bad defensive stats, but they literally mean nothing because my man has such long arms. He blocks a plethora of shots anyway. So I don't know. At this point in the year, I feel like stats don't matter. Like, they don't. I really don't think they do, like, to be honest. I feel like I haven't run into a situation where stats really matter, except for, like, Wilson Chandler's tendencies. That's, like, it. Number 8, Clegg Drexler. Come on. I've talked about this card too much for you to want an explanation on this guy as well. He is a do-it-all shooting guard / wing, and, I mean, he's just incredibly good. Like, I don't think there's anything I can say about this card that's really going to help you make that decision if you haven't made it already to pick him up. You know what I mean? He's just the man, dude. 6'7". I like his jump shot a lot. I know other people do not. But I haven't really heard anyone complain about it at the same time, He does need clutch shooter and ice and veins, though. Those are very important badges to give him, at least to get him to gold, especially if he's starting on your team. Number 7, another Cheap Loot's favorite over here, Darius Miles. Like, I didn't name my subscription tiers after mid-2000s power forwards for no reason. Mid-2000s power forward, mid-2000 combo forwards for no reason. Like, my favorite era of the forward would for sure have been the early 2000s with guys like Darius Miles, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Stromile Swift. Shout out to my boy, The Stro Show. I don't really know what he's up to now. Hope he's doing good, though. Is he alive? Yeah, he's alive, probably. I don't know. I don't know what Stromile Swift is up to. If you're watching this, Stromile, say what's up. Holler at me. Hit my DMs. We can play one-on-one or something. Darius Miles is just godly, though. Like, he really is. I didn't even talk about him that much, but I've talked about him for like 3 weeks straight. Next up, Rudy Fernandez at number 6. Dude, come on. He's a 6'6" Steph Curry clone. Like, you know what you're getting here. You remember the Diamond Rudy Fernandez? Literally, this card is the upgraded version of that card in every single capacity. He's essentially an invincible card, except he can't really play the post, but are you really going to be out here trying to post God with Rudy Fernandez? Probably not, right? He's got the Steph Curry release, especially if you're someone who's been using Wiseman for a long period of time. It's definitely a base that you're going to have down. The upper is solid as well, which is... Uppers are definitely more important than we led them on, for sure. Like, a lot of people don't talk about uppers as much as we should. But I also don't think they're really that detrimental either. He's got release 27 upper, so he's essentially got the Curry base with the J.R. Smith upper, which is something that I definitely enjoy. Really easy to green jump shot. Also, it's very in the middle when it comes to Curry base. It's easy to green, but it also makes a good amount of whites too. So you don't really have to worry too much with Rudy Fernandez. Next up, number 5, Isaac Bonga. Come on, man. You knew Bonga, dude. Everybody knows about Bonga in 2K. Like, Bonga's a beast. He's 6'8" point guard. He can play the small forward. I do think he is one of those guys that's significantly better at the point guard, though, for sure. But 6'8", 180. Super skinny, but he blocks like a lot of shots. Set shot 14 jumper, which is the same as like Kevin Garnett. It's the exact same jumper that he has on his Ruby card, so if you've used that, or Antoine Walker is the same as well. He's got release 29 upper, which is the exact same. So he's basically the same card as his Ruby, at least jump shot wise, except it's on very quick. Banga's nasty. He does need some badges though, that is for sure. Nothing too crazy, but like Deadeye and Ice and Veins. Slippery off ball too if you plan on playing him at the small forward. If you plan on playing him at the point guard and running your offense mainly through him, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it does help, obviously. Banga's nasty, dude. Like, if you're looking for a point guard, Banga's where it's at. Number 4, Simbular. Come on, man. I personally prefer Simbular over our number 3 selection here. He's one of the most expensive cards on this list at just under 25k, so he just barely qualifies. But he's 7'5", 360, just a thick boy, just an Adonis of thickness, just ready to go. Like, oh, this card shoots too. They changed the Diamond Simbular base, and they actually gave him Larry Bird release, so it's incredibly easy to green, but it does miss more whites. It's something you will notice. But it's significantly quicker too, and his upper's really nice as well. This card's like dumb. I'm actually shocked. Like, you guys heard my pack opening. I was unexcited for this card. I mean, like, I like the diamond one. He doesn't have dribbling badges, something to kind of think about. But yeah, his release 26 upper, which is the same upper that his card prior had. It's just they changed his base to Larry Bird base. Significantly better. And number 3, Sean Bradley. I'm not the biggest... I'm not a fan of Sean Bradley. I do like the card a lot. I'm just not as high on Sean Bradley as a lot of content creators or people are in a general sense, just because I don't play in the fashion that is required for Sean Bradley. But he's essentially got the same jump shot as Kristaps Porzingis. He does have George Gervin's upper, which I love. Like, I love George Gervin's upper. And I like it on Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley's pretty wet for me. I just prefer Simbular because of how I use my center. And him being wider, he's able to box people out better, and he grabs more rebounds than Sean Bradley, at least in my experience, which is something that's important. Plus, I prefer Larry Bird base in a green capacity over the jump shot of Sean Bradley, which is Burke Lopez base. That's just me, though. He does need clutch shooter, tight handles, all the dribbling badges for sure. I just got a Hoff handles for days. I'm considering putting it on him. Number 2, Sean Elliott. Look, realistically, like, you should not be able to buy a card this good for this cheap. Like, it's just how it is. You know, everything I said about Clyde Drexler and I continuously say about Clyde Drexler, that goes triple for Sean Elliott. He's Clyde Drexler with better stats, better badges. He's an inch taller and has a significantly better jump shot. I actually like Clyde Drexler's jump shot a lot. I'm relatively green with it. I straight up do not miss with Sean Elliott. Like, you guys watched my video. I pulled Invincible Kawhi, and I still don't even know if I could use him over Sean Elliott because of how good I am with Sean Elliott. He's got base 29, which I love. It's base 29 on very quick. With the Pete Maravich or Antoine Walker upper. It's a god tier jump shot. One of the best jump shots in the game. And if anything, it proves that 2K is stupid because base 29 on very quick, on a guard, is incredible, and had they given it to Danny Granger, he would be one of the best power forwards in the game. Number 1, Boris Diaw. First things first, Nelly bandana. Alright, or bandana. Nelly Band-Aid, okay? That's all you really need to know about Boris Diaw right there. He does not have the Nelly Band-Aid in-game, which I think is something 2K made a massive mistake on, because that would be sick. But this is, bar none, one of the most complete cards, if not the most complete card that you can buy for under 100k. I mean that fully. Sometimes Toon Squad LeBron is under 100k. That would probably be the most complete card that you can buy. Boris Diaw is positionless, and meaning he can play the point guard or the power forward equally well. He has every single badge in the game except blinders. Like, that's the only one he doesn't have. So if you're on next gen, you can throw it on him. If you're on current gen, he's good to go straight out of the package. There is absolutely nothing this card does badly. Nothing. Not a thing. I guess the only gripe you could have is that he's a tiny bit small for the power forward at 6'8", I guess, but he has all the stats and badges necessary. He's got Gallinari base with a Gallinari upper. Well, with Lillard's upper, I'm sorry. Which Lillard's upper isn't the greatest, but it's fine. Boris Diaw is just next level. Like, this guy will improve your team no matter what your team's looking like. I literally took out Invincible Anthony Davis on my power forward just to run Boris Diaw because this card is so good. I mean that fully, and you can buy this card for like 12K. It's absurd. As always, it has been your boy Cheap Ludes. I hope this list helped you make some budget decisions. Check the description for all my stuff, and I will be back with another video later. Peace.